Welcome everybody to another video of Making Decisions. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about using string builder steps in decisions. It's a couple of flow steps that aren't frequently known, and I want to share them with you guys because the next project that I'll be recording and uploading to the YouTube channel will be using those steps heavily. So as I do in every single video, let's create another project folder. I'm going to call this Experimenting with the string builder steps. I know it's kind of very long, but I'll just leave it long. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our flow designer. I'm going to say this is string building. Yeah, with the exclamation point. And to find all these string builder steps, I believe we're going to have to go to an area called data in the category, and then we'll have to go to text. In this text, you're going to see a lot of different text steps, and some of them will not be the ones we will be using. But if you scroll down, we go all the way down, all the way down, keep going, keep going. I'm pretty sure it's here, or it may not be here. If not, then how I find these steps, it merged HTML, merged plain string. Nope, this isn't. But this category does contain a lot of useful steps if you want to split strings. But the ones that I want to find, oh, there we go. I missed the whole category called string builder. So that's what we're looking for, string builder. When you expand this, then you have all the steps that are contained in this category that are used for building your own string in decisions. Things like, hey, let me append some text to it. Let me append some lines. So that's basically you pressing enter on your keyboard. So like, for example, if I have a notepad, and I tell it to append a blank line. So let's say I tell it to append the text hi, and then I say append a blank line. What Decisions does is it gives you a blank line, like a notepad here, as you can see on my screen. So you're just telling Decisions to programmatically design some type of message or some type of file. And so it's a very helpful tool. Now, the first thing that you're always going to have to do when using these steps is notice that all these steps, if I do append line or append URL, all of these steps contain an input called string builder. That's because the first step in any text creation that you will do in Decisions, you will always need to create that string builder. That's what it's called in Decisions. Now, what is the create string builder step? The create string builder step, what it primarily does is it reserves a part of your computer's memory to store this string as it's being created. And so it reserves that for the creation of the string. And that's why you always have to create it, because if you don't create it, then your string doesn't technically exist. So that's why you have to create the string builder first. And then when you're done creating the string, you're going to append, append all your string steps with a close string builder step, saying, hey, I'm completed this, creating this string. I don't need that area in memory anymore. And then I'm going to, I'm finished with it. After we close that string, we're going to use either one of these two steps called the toText or the HTML text. Now what that does is it says, hey, take that built string that's contained in that string builder data that we use and convert that into actual human readable text. You can do this for normal text, so if I just have plain text like a notepad like I showed earlier, or if I'm constructing some type of HTML text that I want to use for a web page, I can use the toHTML text. So let's go ahead and let's use some of these steps to create a message. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my string builder step here. I'm just going to add append text, and we're going to connect this step up. I'm going to select from flow the string builder output, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to type the text to add. And so let's say I want this to be hello. Let's say hello. I'm going to say hello to myself. Hello, Jared. I'm going to append the text. And then let's say after that, I want to append a line. So I'm going to add another step. I'm going to append a line. And then what happens here is now I'm going to say add the string builder, step here, and then on the line to add, I'm going to say a constant, how are you, question mark. So now what's going to happen is once I close, I'm just going to use those 2 steps. So what's going to happen, map this, is I should have a text output that should do, let me open up another notepad, that should say, hello, Jared, and then it's going to append a line, and the new line is going to say, how are you? So that's what should happen when we create this file. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. So anytime that we close our string builder step, we want to make sure we use the toHTML or toText step afterwards, because what this does is it takes in the text from the string builder data and then converts it into readable text. So right now, if I debug this process, it goes through and I look at the inputs and outputs of this, then you can see the hello Jared, how are you? Now we don't see the line here, so in order to see how it's actually formatted, we're going to need to create a form and then display that in like a multi-line text box. So I'm gonna do the show form, grab the show form step here, pick create. I'm just gonna create a new one real quick. This is gonna be show my text. And then what I'm going to do, drag a button like we always need to, and I'm going to use a text box multi-line. So we can see this here. And this is just going to be string input because I'm going to map in my 2 HTML text or 2 text output into this step. All right, so I'm going to move this down here. I'm going to move this back a little bit, drag this line over here, and then drag this line to the end step here. And then for here, the input, man, that got smushed. On the string input here, I'm going to select from flow and select the toText output, not the string builder output. See how it's string builder data? I don't want that. I actually need to grab the toText output because that's what converts the string builder data into an actual readable human string or readable human text. So now I'm going to debug this and let's see what happens. So it looks like we did not get the new line. Maybe I might have used the wrong step. So let's use a different step to get that line because I know we can do it. I just think I may have confused that with the wrong step. So I'm going to go back to data. I'm going to go back to text, and then I'm going to go to string builder. And then, I think that's what I needed to do. I needed to append a blank line. So I'm going to remove that step here, and I'm going to make sure that's down here so it's easier in red. And I'm going to say I want to append a blank line. That's the step I was confusing that one with. This one allows me to append a line. So let's say I want to select from flow, create string builder output, and then the line count is a constant number. I want to say I want 2. So now what should happen, and now if I copy this append text here, and then now instead of saying, hello Jared, it's going to say, how are you, with a question mark. So now, this is going to be the append text, hello Jared. I'm going to notate this because this can get a little abstract, so I want to make it as clear as possible. Append text, how are you? And then this one I want to say append blank lines. I think that's descriptive enough of what it's actually doing. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to debug. There you go. So now we've created that text that says hello Jared. I've given it 2 blank lines, so it's essentially going from the top of it. So instead of this line, I went to the next line. So line 2, which is here, and I've created the text, hello Jared, how are you? So I'm able to use this and create a type of process that will dynamically build strings by just appending blank lines, appending text, appending another blank line, or however way I want. So that's something to be aware of when you're building these dynamic texts. Use case for this is you can use it to build files. So this one's just plain text. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to utilize the text, the string builder text with HTML. This is a very powerful thing because this allows you to leverage HTML and kind of a little bit of that text to create tables, formatting and things like that, so you can have certain styling on your PDF file documents if you want to use that for invoice routing or whatever the case may be. So to show that, I'm just going to delete all of these steps in the middle. I still need the closed string builder. I'm going to delete the to text, because anytime we use HTML text in decisions, what we're going to have to do is we're going to go to data, text, string builder. I'm going to need to get the to HTML text, because that's what's going to display that to HTML string that I will create into an HTML readable format, that if I put it on some type of processor that reads the HTML, will then output that. So with that being said, we will also need to change the input from our form to be from a multi-line text box to an actual HTML, or I think it's like HTML display. This is an actual step in the form designer. And what this actually does is it allows you to pass in HTML to this form control. Now, typically, this is used for like the anchor tag in HTML to navigate you to a different website, but you can, in the step parameters here, you can change it to accept data, and you can change the source type to static, and then you can grab the static HTML. So this is helpful if you want to pass in data to it. Now notice this is if I want to statically put any HTML text in here, I can do it here. Or if I say inline, or I think it's inline embedded, and then I say, oh, I have to say from data, I had the wrong thing. So if I say inline, then what's going to happen is it's going to inline run this HTML text. This is going to be HTML text. And as soon as I pass in the HTML into this form control, it will display it in this form control. So let's go ahead and let's just craft some HTML and pass it into this step right here. So what I'm going to do is, let's say in my, I want to append HTML tag. So what I can do is I can say, hey, I want to append an HTML tag. So this would be like the opening tag if I want to do it that way. I can append a tag. So let's say this is going to be, what's a tag I can put? So let's say I want to append the bold tag. Right, I want this text to be bold. So I'm going to append this tag, and I'm going to select the create string builder output. And then what I can do is I can append HTML text, put this here, and then I can say, hey, string builder, and then I'm going to copy this append HTML tag, because remember, I need to add my closing tag into my HTML, because that's how HTML works, right? You have an opening tag and you have a closing tag. So I need to make sure that I add the closing tag, which is indicated by the left and right arrows and the forward slash after the first arrow. And then I just connect this up to the end step right here. And let me move this line to the right side so we can see how it's working. So now the text I want to add is hello Jared again. All right. So now as we read this, it's going to be append HTML bold tag. So I'm going to I'm actually going to write it here so we can see what it's doing. And then I'm going to say append closing tag, append tag. Because all it's really doing now is I'm just programmatically telling decisions to craft a string that will look like this. And for those of you who are watching who don't know what this means, all I'm doing is I'm making this text bold, because HTML allows me to use what we call rich text formatting, which means you have styling, font sizes, colors, any of those things that I want. I can use those tags to create that. So that's all I'm telling decisions to create. Now, once I run this process and put it into this form, when I select from flow the to HTML text output, you will see that it is bold, because that HTML display form control takes in that HTML and will be able to view it in that format. All right, so now I'm going to debug this, and let's see what it looks like. So as you can see, hello Jared is bold, because what happened is I told decisions to programmatically write this text, right? It append, I'm going to move this down so we can see it. So I told it to append this bold tag, and then I said, hey, append the text hello space Jared, and then I said append the closing tag. So that's one way you can use the HTML text editors, or not text editors, steps, in decisions. Now you can also say, I think there's a append line with tag, so you can append an HTML text and the beginning and end tag. So this one can kind of do everything that I just did in one step. So I just wanted to show you the other way so you can get a sense on how decisions is executing it. And then now I can show you the easy step where we can just say, hey, I want to string builder output. I want to say that this is a, this is bold. We'll do the bold one again. That's the beginning tag, and then I'll do a constant this, and then on the text to add will be hello space Jared. And as you will see, it will do the exact same thing that the previous step did. It's just combining it all into one. So that's what makes it helpful with that step, is you can define the tags and then define new lines as well. So if I wanted to copy this, move it over, and this one, I'm going to say this is still the bold tag. And what I'm going to say is that this is how are you? And then it will define another string of text saying hello, how are you, for that text. And if I want to append and align, then all I need to do is grab that, let's see, data, text, string builder, and if I say append, I think it's HTML line. So no, it's not append HTML line. What you'll do is you append, you can use the append, is it the append line? I think it's the append line or append blank lines. That's what I'm looking for. I can use the append blank lines, add this up to my step here, right? And then I'm going to select from flow, create string builder, done, and then I'm going to add the count of 2. And then now when I debug this, you'll see that it doesn't, it formats the text where I gave it some space, so it formats it that way. But in HTML, if I actually want to have it go down and have a new line, I will actually have to use another tag. So I can say append HTML, I think it's tag, and I can append a break tag. Now, for those of you who know HTML, the break tag is a self-closing tag, so I don't need to add anything else. I don't need to add a closing tag for it, meaning I don't need to create a BR and then add another, add another step with BR /. You don't need to. All you need is just the break tag here, which is just the left arrow, BR, and the right arrow, and then it would give your HTML a new line, and you do not need this. So if I close this and delete this and then I debug, you will see that now I have hello Jared, how are you, and that is below the initial text, because whenever I need to add a new line in HTML, I need to use that tag for it. All right. So that's the summary of the create string builder steps. I hope this was informative. If you have any questions, ask in the comment section below, like and subscribe. And then be on the lookout. I'll have another video on how you can use the create string builder steps for dynamic generic document creation. So that's going to be coming, and it's going to use a lot of these steps that I demonstrated here. So you can use both those videos for reference. So hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching.